you, Neneh. Thank you, Mark, for this wonderful, wonderful film about Stockholm. Actually, I'm not going to ask you any serious question at this start. I'm going to make this great proposition for you in the audience. Any one of you who ask a question for Neneh or Mark will get this wonderful T-shirt of Stockholm I Love. It looks like this. Not all of them are this big. This is the XL for men. There are smaller sizes. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for this screening. I don't know where to start. I'll start with asking you, Mark, why Stockholm?
I've been coming to Stockholm since the late 80s, as I said in the introduction, and it's my friend Anita there she is, and Anita, could you come up as well, please? Anita co-wrote the film and produced the film, and I came from a complicated city, Belfast, where there was a melodrama of war, and I came to this city, and it felt like something like a harbour, or a refuge, or a safe place. This is, as you know, literally a city of refuge, and so I just felt at home here, and it was a different kind of home, and so that was the first reason. The second reason was the cinematic quality of Stockholm. The light, the changing light, it's remarkable, the light, and also crucially, it's very hard to make a film in New York because everybody's filmed in New York, but here this is an under-imagined cinematic city, you know, and so for those reasons, I think.
And Anna, why did you want to do this? Why did you take part in this film?
Well, Mark kind of sent me a very convincing email, actually, that was like, I think it was like 12 reasons why I should be in his film. And they were just like 12 really amazing reasons. And I mean, just the fact that he felt that I could do it, or that I should do it. And the sort of explanations, which was like, we're going to be very few people working on the film. Obviously, there was a script, but that actually the dialogue would be sort of like going on in my head, so I wouldn't have to remember any lines, which was a big plus. and that I would be doing a lot of walking around in Stockholm, which is basically what I did when I lived here, because we came back, me and my family, we came to live here. Cameron, he's sitting over there.
And he wrote you a good email.
And he wrote me a great email. I did say that. An amazing email. Yeah, and so, but yeah, so I guess when I came back to Stockholm, I hadn't lived here since I was 4, and I just, to kind of make new roots and to find myself and to find a place here, to become part of the place. I just kind of walked around, and usually I would go to Gamla Stan where we lived, you know, the last place we lived here when I was little. And then in 2009, my mother passed away, and a huge part of my healing was just wandering around and trying to figure out how to live again, and also just being in the world that was just right here. And then, of course, we met, and I just kind of fell in love with Mark, and I already loved his work, and it was a big inspiration. I think the challenge of doing new things is really interesting. I mean, I didn't know whether I would be able to do it, but I felt safe with Mark, and I felt that I could surrender and just kind of be, and that he would lead me and hold me at my hand and guide me. And it was an amazing experience, and I'm so happy and so honored, actually. So that's it.
Thank you.
By the way, if you want to speak in Swedish, it's okay.
I won't. Swedish, but I just felt like vi kan prata svenska, men det känns också so we should have a conversation. If we're gonna have a conversation, you know, as you haven't quite got the Swedish. Anyway.
But if anybody of you in the audience wants to speak Swedish, so that's okay. Are there any questions from the audience? I heard.
People seeing Neneh on screen and smiling at the end is just really gorgeous.
The one smile.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice. I just want to ask a question of each of you. Are you going to release any of the music from the film? Because I've lived here now 8 years, and I would love to have Stockholm hung up as a sort of soundtrack for my house around the background, which is really beautiful. And then, Mark, the question for you is, it seems a lot of the script came about after the film. A lot of it is quite specific to what you filmed, and I just wondered if you could talk a bit about that.
Do you want to say something about the music, or do you want to say this? Answer that. Cameron, do you want to say something about the music? You know, I love the music. I wrote some of the words, but beyond that, we have. To be honest, we haven't really, as far as I understand, had that discussion about what to do with the music. It's quite young in the life of this film. You know, this film will be released in the UK in June, but who knows? It might be, you know, if enough people want to hear it, then yeah. On the second point, on the script, so I'm slightly suspicious of films that are too led by the screenplay, as if a film is an act of writing. I think a film is an act of looking, frankly, you know. But we did have a rough screenplay beforehand, and in some of those close-ups, you remember I'd be just off camera, and I'd be, as it were, reading or saying things to you. You know, Neneh needed extremely little direction, and it has to be said, she was just naturally, I thought, good. But yeah, there's one shot, you know, in the Björkhagen sequence, the central Act 2, as it were, you know, where it needed to be quite technical, where the eye, Neneh's eye needs to go to the right of screen at a certain point. So then I would be reading the screenplay that was sort of written, but then when you work this way, which is shooting silently and then adding voice afterwards, then you can change the screenplay afterwards. You can tweak it. So you can really look into the face of your actor and say, what is she really doing there? And then you can sort of use the words to, I was going to say call and response, you know, that idea that I always think that music and image have got a call and response relationship with each other. Music wants to be visual and images want to be musical in some way, and so that's what you're looking for. I don't know if that answers your question.